What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the top 3 things that I wish I knew when I was starting my social media marketing agency. So just to get into the video, the first thing that I really wish I knew that would have saved me so much time in the beginning is setting up systems and setting up structure. So not only like in terms of business structure, but in terms of like your personal life. So what habits are you developing? Are you meditating and keeping yourself calm? Are you reading to constantly grow? Are you spending a certain number of time every day researching and learning your craft? And then as well as like, are you cutting certain things out? Are you watching less YouTube videos so you can focus more time on executing? So that's the first part of that, no systems and structure. But also the second part of that is like in the business itself. Are you setting up systems to replace yourself? So are you learning something? Let's say like a good cold calling script, getting it down. Whereas even nowadays, you can even go and research someone else's script, see what's working for them, and then duplicate that for yourself, and then hand it off to, let's say, a sales rep or some virtual assistant to do that for you. So then you could focus on systemizing other parts of the business. Because the real point of having an actual business is so you can pull yourself out and kind of have the leverage. So one of the quotes that one of my mentors told me was, a business pays you whether you work or not, but a job doesn't. So a lot of people I see are setting up their social media marketing agencies like a job, and that's really not what you want to be doing. So the second thing that I wish I knew when I started my social media marketing agency was having a team and outsourcing. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the first one, because you can't really outsource something if there's not a system in place. So you need to be able to manage those outsourcers and kind of give them tasks to do, know how long it's going to take, and know what your expectations are. And if you don't have the background knowledge of setting up the systems and the structure, then you're not going to be able to delegate. And one of the things that allows you to move quickly, and what I've noticed if you look at a lot of the top level entrepreneurs, the reason they're able to move so quickly and build so many businesses at the same time is because everything that can be handed off to someone else is delegated off and outsourced to their team. Whereas if you try to do everything yourself, there's only a certain number of hours in the day, and eventually even if you go down that route, you're going to get burnt out. So just to note on these two, like if you feel like you're in a position where you don't have the resources to outsource or to delegate, just keep in mind that in general, like Tony Robbins says this quote that I really like a lot. It's not It's not that you're not successful because you don't have the resources. Most likely, you're not successful because you're not resourceful enough. So if you really want it, you'll find a way to succeed, even if you kind of have to scrap around in the beginning in order to build this team or do more things than you want in the beginning. But the ultimate goal is to kind of duplicate yourself out. And to be honest, like virtual assistants especially, you can outsource a lot of things for relatively cheap. I mean, I would say when you're starting out, I'm sure most of you guys are just starting out, the one thing that is the first person you should hire is some sort of salesperson on a commission basis. So they're not really going to charge you money unless they're getting you meetings and closing you deals. And something that I've noticed as well is most people in this industry that have been successful with their agencies, except for maybe one or two that I know of, have all had someone else setting appointments for them. So then it was their job simply to go into the meeting and just close the client, which makes it a lot easier because most of the time sales can be a numbers game. So if you have a duplicated team going out there and talking to more people than you could talk to on your own, your chances of getting more meetings and then closing more clients will increase as well. So my third one is not spending enough time on income producing activities, also known as IPAs. So meaning like in the beginning, really like, yeah, I would say actually like something I didn't really agree on up front. You should have some sort of simple website and business cards and things set up. But it also depends on what you're doing, right? So if you have people in your network that maybe you could start working with up front, which I didn't really have, maybe they wouldn't care about that as much. Or if you're going out and just kind of doing like cold prospecting. But if you're going to want to go like and try to reach out to higher level businesses and maybe go networking, especially I feel like for me, I'm 19 years old, so at a younger age, I feel like you need some of these other things to kind of get taken a little bit more seriously. That's just my experience in my market. Some people may disagree, so you have to figure out what works for you. But I would say it would help to have a little bit of a brand established first. But then outside of that, you should be spending 80% of your time, or at least most of your time, on sales or bringing on people to do the sales for you and stuff like that. Because really in social media marketing, that's the one thing that gets you paid, going out there and getting clients. All the fulfillment stuff comes after that. But since a lot of us in the social media marketing space spend a lot of time on YouTube researching, most likely you do have a lot of the background knowledge to sell it and talk about it. Although you may not be able to kind of go get those results up front. But once you have the client, you collect the payment, you can really worry about outsourcing it and bringing on experts to help you get the results. And then once you kind of go through that entire sales cycle once, you'll be a lot more confident just to keep signing clients. that's kind of where I'm at now, just really focusing on duplicating the systems so we can just really scale the company. And one of the last ones I have here as a bonus is to make sure you're building habits. So a lot of people that I've seen, they kind of go out there and they really go hard at it, grind. And really, if you go from, not really running a business or not having any background experience like me, you're going to really burn yourself out. So I would just say, like, take it slow and steady. I've seen a lot of people go out there and set these huge goals and kind of do a lot up front and then they burn out. Just kind of take it slow and consistent and really just try to get a little bit better each day and really only compare yourself to the person you were yesterday. As cliche as that sounds, because in this space you never really know who has a background in sales or who has a background in other business ventures, and then this is their fourth or fifth one that happens to take off. So I mean, the really only thing you should be focusing on is how can I improve a little bit each day and really being consistent. Because if you could spend 30 minutes or an hour each day, or have some salesperson doing it on income producing activities over a month, that's about 30 hours. The amount of people that you're going to talk to, it's going to compound, and then your name's going to get that out there even more. That's really how you're going to be able to generate more clients in the long run. So I would just say, focus on building the habits that will make you successful over time, and they'll have a compounding effect, and not really just focusing on the grind. Not that the grind is anything wrong with it. Like, sometimes it's needed. Like, when I started my agency, I was working a lot on it, and a lot of the things I was doing were just kind of wasting time, just, learning, researching, not focusing on the right activities. But then you get to a point where you realize, like, if I spend 2 hours a day on the stuff that generates me income, I can probably grow the business faster and get farther than if I spend 8 hours just doing random stuff. So just to end off with a couple more bonuses, maybe on a few books, because I've noticed just in talking to my successful friends, as well as just seeing in Facebook groups, the people that are successful in the social media marketing agency, they treat it as a business. So, like book recommendations that I've seen that I also agree with, one being E-Myth, really talks about setting up systems in the business, and this isn't a book that I've actually read, but someone that I met at a networking event who runs a multi-million-dollar software company kind of introduced me to this whole concept and really got me onto the process of setting up systems in the business, because his business was running without him as well as growing without him, which is obviously the goal. Another one which I'm reading right now, I'm just about to finish it up, is the 4-Hour Workweek. And this book really has some good stuff in it in terms of outsourcing and delegating. And if you can apply the principles from these two books, they'll really serve you well. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really tried to, there's a lot of lessons that I've learned over the time running my agency, but these are definitely the top 3. And if I knew these when I started, I might be a lot farther than I currently am right now. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below, and subscribe, because I'll be dropping more videos on SMMA content to really help you and help you get started as well as grow your agency. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.